Good evening, distinguished journalists. Today, as you have seen, the official opening ceremony of the second African Climate Summit was held colorfully. On the opening ceremony, the high-level leaders summit, head of states and governments, and then photo sessions also held. With this opening session, key pledges and an announcement emphasizing the role of the African leadership and ownership of climate solution was the second African Climate Summit opens with call for action. The African Climate Summit opened under the theme Accelerating Global Climate Solutions, Financing for African Resilient and Green Development, positioning Africa not as a victim of climate change, but as a driver of solutions in the next global climate economy. His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia remarked that too often the African climate narratives emphasizes lack of finance, technology, often missing the opportunity narratives. Designing the next climate economy, Ethiopia's Prime Minister declares we are not here to negotiate our survival. We are here to design the world's next climate economy. He highlighted Ethiopian record 48 billion tree planting, climate resilient with, and the near completion of the Great Renaissance Dam, which is producing 5,000 megawatts renewable energy. His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of the Federal Democratic of Ethiopia proposes the establishment of African Climate Innovation Compact to unite universities, startups, communities, and innovators aiming of 1,000 African solutions by 2030 across energy, water, food, resilient, backed by 50 billion annually in blended finance. By mobilizing Africa's leadership, global partnership, and the private sector investment, the compact seeks to position Africa as a next exporter of climate solution, aligning with Agenda 23, the Paris Agreement, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Ethiopia officially announced a bid to host COP32 in 2027, positioning Ethiopia and the African continent as a front player in the global climate discourse and solutions. His Excellency President William Samuel Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, reiterated that Africa is a source of innovative climate change solutions. President Ruto also highlighted Africa's progress since the Nairobi Declaration, including green infrastructure, climate-smart agriculture, and renewable energy advance. AU Chair called for fair finance. AUC Chair, His Excellency Muhammad Ali Yusuf demands fair, significant, and predictable climate finance, stressing that Africa's vulnerability, exacerbated by climate change, debt, and structural inequality, must be redressed through climate justice and then genuine cooperation. Somalia's bold commitment, President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed announced his counter-submission of NS3, renewable energy, in a rural mini-grid and a blue economy investment. He stressed Somalia's debt relief gain and launched a National Climate Fund 2024 to channel direct finance for resilience, calling for operationalizing loss and damage funds. Global partners back Africa. UN representatives, COP29 presidents, and COP30 president designated reaffirms Africa's circumstance and need must be recognized. Just energy transition and support for adaptation and climate justice. Brazil invited Africa to shape the COP30 agenda in Belém. Africa Financial Institution commits 100 billion for Africa's green industrialization. 100 billion mobilized for green growth. Africa Finance Institutions signed a landmark cooperation framework to operationalize the African Green Industrialization Initiative, transforming Africa's renewable energy, resource, and industries into a climate-smart growth engine. Building on the Nairobi Declaration and COP28's launch, AG2 will accelerate renewable powered industries, expand regional value chains, and establish Africa as a global hub for sustainable trade, anchored in millions of new jobs and climate-smart industries. Backed by African Development Bank, Afreximbank, Africa 50, AFC, leading commercial banks, and the ATFAS Secretariat, the framework prioritizes mobilizing Africa's capital first and de-risk projects and aligning policy to attract global investment, demonstrating African leadership in shaping the global energy transition. Key events: the official opening of the African Climate Summit 2 begins with a symbolic tree planting ceremony at the Addis Ababa International Convention Center. African head of states and government, ministers and dignitaries planted tree as a powerful gesture of unity and a commitment to the ecosystem restoration. Each tree stands as a living testament to Africa's resolve in safeguarding the environment for future generations. Key message: the importance of Africa taking the driver's seat in crafting solutions for climate change, the role of nature-based solution and technology in decarbonization and resilient infrastructure are the key message. For further media information and inquiry, you can contact Mansour Dasse for further clarification and then media inquiry. Thank you very much.